We touched on this briefly earlier in our program, but it bears repeating before we part ways. Donald Trump out of the spotlight today, preparing for tomorrow night's debate in Detroit. But last night, he held a press event at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. And during that press conference, the Donald struck a different tone, that of unifier.
I want to congratulate Ted on the winning of Texas. He worked hard on it, and I know how hard he worked, actually. And so I congratulate Ted Cruz on that win. That was an excellent win. We're going to make America great again, folks. We're going to make it great again. And, you know, I watched Hillary's speech, and she's talking about wages have been poor, and everything's doing badly, but we're going to make it. She's been there for so long. I mean, if she hasn't straightened it out by now, she's not going to straighten it out in the next 4 years. It's just going to become worse and worse. She wants to make America whole again, and I'm trying to figure out what is that all about. Make America great again is going to be much better than making America whole again. So I just want to say that this was an exciting evening. It's so great to be in Florida. It's so great to be at Mar-a-Lago with friends and the press and the media and everybody. When Chris called, he said, this is a movement. This is something like I've never seen. And in all fairness to the press, a lot of the press have said the same thing. They've never seen what's happening right now. They've never seen anything like it. And I'm just honored by it. I feel awfully good. I mean, I'm watching your people. I'm watching your people on, and I'm going to be very nice. I'm going to be very nice. I'm watching your people on CNN, and I'm watching the Fox people, and I'm watching the MSNBC people, too. Okay? See? I'm becoming diplomatic. And they are certainly being very nice to me tonight. I'm going to get along great with Congress, okay? Paul Ryan, I don't know him well, but I'm sure I'm going to get along great with him. And if I don't, he's going to have to pay a big price, okay? I'm a unifier. I know people are going to find that a little bit hard to believe, but believe me, I am a unifier. Once we get all of this finished, I'm going to go after one person. That's Hillary Clinton, on the assumption she's allowed to run, which is a big assumption. I don't know that she's going to be allowed to run. And I think that's frankly going to be an easy race. You see the polls. I beat Hillary in many polls. I know one thing. I don't think Marco's going to be able to beat her. I don't think, in all fairness, I think Ted's going to have a very hard time. But Ted at least has a shot because at least he's won a little bit. So I just tell you this. We are going to be a much finer party, we're going to be a unified party. I mean, to be honest with you. And we are going to be a much bigger party, and you can see that happening. We're going to be a much bigger party. Our party is expanding, and all you have to do is take a look at the primary states where I've won, and just look where we've gone from X number to a much larger number. That hasn't happened to the Republican Party in many, many decades. So I think we're going to be more inclusive, I think we're going to be more unified, and I think we're going to be a much bigger party, and I think we're going to win in November.
And that's the way the Donald sees it. Now it's time for the way you see it. Your comments via social media. First, we hear from Jim writing in about the Republicans. And Jim writes, I'm a conservative, unrestricted free agent. I like the Tea Party, Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, and Marco Rubio with reservation. I also like Dick Morris for vice president and Dennis Michael Lynch for Director of Homeland Security. Next, it's the G-Man, who also has a job in mind for Dick Morris. G-Man writes, in my opinion, although he's doing very well, the Donald would be very wise to hire Dick Morris as his advisor the rest of the way. And Gerald has a message for all the Republican candidates writing in, these candidates are big jokes. I lean towards the Republican Party most of the time, but as I am watching the Republican candidates cutting one another down, I ask, what message are they relaying to the American people? And Vic has a suggestion for all candidates not named Trump. He writes, why don't we gather the 4 other candidates in a closed-door meeting and hash it out until one candidate emerges to challenge Mr. Trump? Otherwise, Kasich and Carson should bow out gracefully and allow the process to do the filtering and thinning as it usually does. Well, Vic, the good doctor must have been listening to you because Dr. Carson announced this afternoon, as we mentioned earlier in this program, he sees no path forward for him politically. There's always a way for you to send your comments to us. Here's the electronic pathway as you get onto your computer. Send your comments to me at newsmaxtv.com/comments. My final comment, stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.